we don't know what our best interests are. And sometimes we think things that are very painful for us are actually giving us pleasure. We don't know until we really let go and think, I don't know what anything means in my life. I don't know who or what I am or where I am. The ego says you're crazy. It doesn't want you to think this. But actually, everyone has to go through this. That I don't know what I am. I'm this sentient being. I have this sense of life. I'm alive. I can feel this love within me, and I want to know more about that love. But I don't know anything else. I'm just this awareness. I don't even know my name or what this form is called, but the peace feels so good that I don't need to define my boundaries and what things are, and I realise that all form is just a boundary that separates different things. So if I don't know what anything means, how can I judge anything? I don't know. But there's peace in this. It's not like an anxiety. I'm at peace. And so there's a story about this Indian man, and in India they won, instead of the lottery, they won a horse for the village, or he won this horse in this village. And all the villagers said, you're so lucky to win this beautiful white horse, look at that. And the man said, maybe so. And the next day, the man's son, he went riding on the horse and he went galloping off at speed, and all the villagers, so lucky that man, look at his son on that beautiful horse. And later that day, the villagers were crowding around, and some of them were laughing. They're saying, look at your son, he's broken his leg and the horse is just dragging him back. Look at that. God, you're so unlucky, aren't you? And the man said, maybe so. The next day, the man's son was still in hospital, but the villagers were all meeting up, and there was a general from the other village, and there was some argument going on, but all the men were being enlisted to go to war with this other village. And the men, all their sons were going, but they saw this man's son was still in the bed. Oh, you're so lucky, look, your son got thrown. He said, maybe so. And this story goes on and on and on. And we can judge the things that happen to us in life that takes us up and downs, soaring highs and plummeting lows, or we can just be with it and just watch life and be at peace. We can be at peace, we still enjoy life, but we have a peace about it, rather than being taken up and down, being tossed around by the sea of dreams that this world is. So it's a nice thing to say maybe so, or rather than judge something, is to watch oneself throughout the day of the judgments that the ego makes and that we identify with. Everyone here has an ego, everyone here has a body. Until we leave the body, the ego, the body is a symbol of its separation of oneness, and it's a symbol of the ego. So until we leave this place and return to the awareness of perfect oneness, which is heaven, we have an ego, and to live this life, not to renounce the ego, to fight against it, it just makes it stronger. But to live this life, not as if you don't have one, but that you don't identify with it. So we have to be aware of our thoughts. Who are we thinking with, the ego? Or with light, with love? I can use the word God too. Whatever it is for you, it's a symbol of perfection, or destruction, of light or darkness. The big thing is not to fear against the ego, because if we fear it, we make it real. We're putting our belief in it in some way. Just watch it, watch the thoughts. If it doesn't bring you peace, you don't want it. You want peace. You want everything. Peace is a star. You're a star.
You're a guru.
I'm the same as you. I'm not anything any different. I'm the same. The only thing that separates me, you, Buddha, Christ, Mother Teresa, anyone you can think of is time. Time is a kaleidoscope that separates things, but it's not true.
That thing about ego is really interesting about where you're coming from. You know, where whatever the action is, or the sentence, whatever's coming out, where is it coming from? Sometimes, and checking in and feeling, and that awareness of like coming back and checking over and over again. Because sometimes the ego can do all sorts of things. It can be a really good camouflage expert. It can dress up as all sorts of things and pretend to be all sorts of things.
They have a kindly voice, it can say, but this is the thing, this is how we do it. So we don't judge whatever the form is, how kindly the voice is, how sweet it sounds, what beautiful thing it's offering us to make ourselves feel better. It's not that we listen to the content, and we ask, what is the meaning of this form? What does this mean? Form in itself is nothing, but it's the meaning that we associate with it, which the ego has, which we identify with, or we can ask for a different interpretation of form and say, one love, one light, show me what this means. So it's that, and the meaning of something we feel. We feel tension or we feel peace.